Hi everybody, Leanne here. I'm going to talk about week 4. We are already at that crazy mid-course point. Goes so quickly. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with that. I'm super impressed with what I've been reading through the journal tasks, but also the discussion posts, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of my thoughts regarding some of the things that you guys have written. So let's go ahead and talk about this week. So this week, you guys, we're going to really dive into the 5 practices text. So I'm hoping that you all have finally received this text that you ordered. Actually, for the next few weeks, we're going to be really into this book. We're going to essentially get through the whole thing. A kind of a concurrent study that we're going to have this week is on productive struggle. And so I'm going to ask you to read an article about productive struggle. And then, of course, I'm going to be asking you to relate your reading in the 5 practices text with the reading in the productive struggle article. And as always, please make sure that you also make those connections between the previous topics from weeks, in this case, 1 through 3. So I also want to talk just for a second about what's coming up, because I'm alluding to that this week in your assignments. And so what's coming up for you guys, and I'm not telling you this so that you'll start working or freaking out about it, because it really doesn't make sense to do that until we get a little bit further in this text. But what you're going to be doing is, once it's like the big assignment for the course, what you're going to be doing is essentially tying everything together from all of our weekly topics. And so once you choose a grade or a grade band, and that's what I'm going to ask you to do this week, and you've read the progression documents for that grade band, which you should have done last week, you'll then choose like a content area strand. So for example, number and operations, that's one of the domains for the Common Core State Standards, or geometry, for example. Then you'll get to know what that progression looks like for that content area in the grade that you're choosing, okay? So that part of it, maybe you've already done because you've really focused on one grade level in all of the activities that I've asked you to kind of immerse yourself in. So what you will do then, and this is kind of starting this week, and that's why I'm mentioning it now, you will choose a math task. And we're going to do some analysis of the math task. We're going to be looking at analyzing student thinking and anticipating their thinking. And the reason that I'm mentioning it now is because when you choose a math task this week from the area that I ask you to use to choose that math task, actually, let's go to it right now. You're going to go to, can you guys see that? Corwin.com. And actually, if you go to the front cover of your book, so I'm not even on a page, I'm just on the front cover of my book. The website is right inside the front cover, and it says www.corwin.com/math/rich_tasks. I have that linked, of course, on the content page of our course as well. But you're going to go to that, and to get your complimentary math tasks, you have to actually fill out a little bit of information. So not your address or your social security, nothing like that, just your name, and if you're a teacher, student, whatever. They're just collecting some data. It's just a survey. But then once you do that, you'll get into your complimentary tasks, and it looks like this, you guys. And so you'll choose whatever grade band interests you the most. I mean, for those of you that are teaching, that would be a no-brainer. But those of you that aren't teaching yet, choose a grade band that interests you most. And when I say a grade band, I don't necessarily mean one grade level. You could choose 2 grade levels, like K1 is a good grade band to choose, or 5-6 or 6-7, whatever really interests you. And then you'll choose a task within there. There's a few, I think like 5 tasks within each grade. So like for example, here are the grade 6 tasks that I was checking out. There are 5 of them. And so you'll choose for your math task assignment this week, you'll choose one of those tasks. You'll choose one of those tasks to complete and turn in. So everybody, I would assume, will be choosing a different task. When you're choosing your task, you can actually go through and look at some of the content area. So here, this task is going to fall under the ratio and proportion sort of domain, and so maybe I'm interested in that. here's one that falls in the number system, so the number and operations domain. If that's what I want to focus on, maybe this is the task for me. So take some time, please don't just like draw one out of a hat, but take some time to really look through and reflect on your own sort of what area do you feel like you need to develop a little bit more and work through that task in that area. Okay, let's go back to this. All right, so that's what's coming up. And so that end of the course assignment, it will not be due until the last week of the course, but it's going to be a culmination of all of these pieces. And so you can absolutely start, thinking about that, what grade you're going to focus on, what content strand you're going to focus on, and then even which tasks you're going to include in that sort of portfolio. It's like a learning sequence, essentially. All right, so let's take a look at the agenda that I just posted. Underneath your watch, this is what I really want to talk about. So here it says the video linked on page 7 of your text, video linked on page 31 of your text, a video linked on page 34 of your text. All right, so like I said, we're really going to focus in here. I want to show you where those videos links are. So if you go to, you guys see this? If you go to page 7, you'll see a QR code. And if you don't already know, you can just take your phone camera and have it on photo, not video, and just aim it right towards the QR code and it will automatically go to that video. So you don't have to have a QR code reader app or anything. You can just use your regular old smartphone camera and go right to that QR code. And so that's how you're going to watch the videos this week. There's 3 of them to watch. They go through chapters 1 and 2. That's what we're focusing on, chapters 1 and 2. It's an introduction to the 5 practices, which I really believe, you guys, it's transformational in terms of math teaching. So I'm excited to really dive into this book. Chapter 2 gets into some setting goals and learning goals, and that's going to be a portion of what we talk about as we roll out a little bit more of this big final assignment. So yeah, so then that's it. So really all of the work you're going to need is mostly in here. I did link the article to the productive struggle that I have right here. That's linked, whoops, that's linked in your content area. All right, so the journal tasks are up, the journal task prompt, the discussion task prompt as well. And again, as your math task, remember you're making the choice which rich task you are completing, and I would expect everybody to probably do a different task. You don't have to. I mean, if you were working with someone and you wanted to do the same task and you wanted to talk about it, that would be fine as well. All right, I think I covered everything there. Let's go to this slide. Yeah, this is where I was just talking about that final sort of portfolio for this course. You're going to be really focusing, like I said, on a grade band, a progression, the content strand for the Common Core Standards, a task, actually a couple tasks that will support that, and they'll actually connect to the 8 practices. So I hope this makes sense. Every week we are building towards more of these best practices in Math Classroom. So it will make it, the more we do them, the more it will make sense. All right, lastly, like I said, I want to talk about the discussion groups. So really encouraging number talk discussions. And here's what I want to remind you guys of, because of some of the things that I read. I want to remind you that what we're doing in this course is we're sort of stepping out of our traditional lens. And when I say traditional lens, I'm talking about the lens of what math teaching looks like, probably from the perspective of your experiences as a young student. So I know that when I was a young student, math was taught in a very sort of lecture-based way where the teacher would show a procedure on the board and we would essentially just copy what the teacher was doing. Not a lot of discussion, not a lot about why do we use this procedure, why is this a more efficient way, that type of thing. And so with that said, I want you to continue to try to step out. Try to step out of that traditional lens and look at everything we're doing, not just the number talks, which I know for some of you were like, what in the world? I get it, but really the goal is to step away from that sort of lens that you're used to, that traditional lens, and try to look at math teaching in a new light. So we have grown so much as a community of educators, math educators. We know so much more about what good teaching looks like and what students need from their teachers. So this week, I'm just going to encourage you to also step out of that traditional lens. As you're reading about the 5 practices, you're going to really start to notice, like, whoa, this is a completely student-centered approach. Yes, very different than maybe a traditional approach that you're used to. So try to keep an open mind. Try to allow yourself to step away and look at it as how it would really benefit the students in your classroom. All right, I think I've talked enough. Thanks for listening, you guys.